worry, okay, I will get used the next days. And very well, we're going to continue. So with teacher Jessica, you have to check the infinitives and gerunds. Just my question is if you have any questions about infinitives and gerunds before we proceed. Is there anything you don't understand about infinitives and gerunds? Or okay, I will get used the next days. And
No, teacher.
no? Okay,
No.
No, teacher.
So let's move on then. According to the next thing we need to see before we start practicing the tests, I will assign you your first simulation or mock exam so you can work on it this weekend. Try to do it as if it was the real exam. Okay, and try to do it. I will send you other 3 simulation exams so you can work on them. Actually, we will work together in some of them, but it's for you to practice. Okay, well, let's start. We eventually, the next week, we will give you more instructions about the certification test, when, and what are the other indications for you to do it. Okay, well, we're going to start. We have phonology and accurate pronunciation. This is the topic. And we are going to start first by looking at this phonemic chart, okay? So the pronunciation in English is very confusing sometimes, even if you are advanced students now, but English has always a confusing pronunciation. Maybe you already knew that from the time you started studying English. You are like, why are words so complicated to pronounce, right? What is the problem with English that you always pronounce it one way and then you pronounce it in a different way? Words that are, that in Spanish, we don't have this problem, right? So I will try to explain to you first this thing, because during your test, they will obviously pay attention to your pronunciation in the oral test. In the oral test, you will have also to read, you will have to read some portions, like some paragraphs, and they will check your pronunciation. So we will need to work on this, and not only for the test, but it will help you in all the situations where you want to use English and you need to improve your English. So you will improve your pronunciation little by little, okay? So first, we need to understand that English is not as Spanish. I think this is very obvious, but English is a very weird exception, right? This is an exception that is kind of annoying, right? You know, and I would call it like this. English sometimes it's annoying when it comes to the pronunciation because it doesn't follow any patterns, okay? So here we go. We have that most of the languages in the world, they are phonetic. Most of the languages in the world are phonetic. And there are some others that are not phonetic. That means that, let's explain the difference. In Spanish, you first learn the vowels, the consonants, right? When we were in the kindergarten, we learned how to write, how to read, and you learn that when we have a consonant, right? For example, B, the consonant letter, the letter B with another vowel, so we create a syllable, right? So this syllable is pronounced ba, right? You have another, you say be, okay. Well, the thing is that this is always sounds the same, doesn't matter what word you have, right? For example, you can have the word ballena, right? And it will always be pronounced ba as in balón, or in, I don't know, barriga, okay? So B with A is always pronounced ba, okay? This is what we learn in Spanish. And in all the languages is the same, like in many languages is the same. Italian, Portuguese, Russian, Polish, and there are some other languages that are not phonetic. For example, French, German, Dutch. What does it mean that they're not phonetic? You consider, for example, the word island, right? So here, as in the vowels, we pronounce island. So this is like, you don't pronounce the S, ignora una S, se ignoran palabras de la pronunciación. But if you have this word, you would say information, pronouncing E, no como debería de pronunciarse en inglés, que es I. We don't say information or something like this, right? So here, E is pronounced similar to Spanish. Well, this is actually a French word. Information es la palabra en francés. Esto es lo en francés, right? Information. Okay. And if we see like, we could have another example, illegal, right? Illegal, but we say iconic. So this makes, that's why I told you, right, that English is annoying with the pronunciation. So first thing is that, as you know, right, English is not a phonetic language, but don't worry, because we found some ways to work it out, right? There are some things we understand. I think that maybe some students don't get it, but we are with you, right? We are with you. We understand that well, it's not that easy for you. I think I don't have my slides. 1 second. But yes, English doesn't make sense in pronunciation. Okay, and this is because it's actually described, historically, English is described as chaotic, right? You know the monster of Frankenstein? Do you know Frankenstein, the monster? Actually, Frankenstein is the scientist, right? But we always think like the opposite of the monster. But the monster of Frankenstein, now that we will have the Halloween celebrations and Day of the Dead, do you know it? Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think actually it's pronounced Frankenstein or something in German. But this is a monster, according to the story. The scientist Frankenstein, he assembled the monster with different parts of dead bodies, corpses. Okay, so he assembled everything. He took, for example, a dead person's hand and put it with the thorax of another dead person. And so he assembled the monster. Okay. Well, so, all right. Very well. So English is the same. Okay. English is a Frankenstein. English is very strange. Okay, but why? Look. We have it here. Okay, well, something went wrong with my presentation, but yes. So you could see like English in a graphic. Okay. So, okay, look at this, right? So we have, here's the history of English, but imagine that English is this graphic, okay? This is the English language, this circle that I just made. Well, so we will divide the circle in 4 parts. Okay, you have 3 principal parts. very principal areas, and then you have one that is very small. Okay, so this is the English language. The English language is made of Latin. Specifically, it's a 29% Latin. We have French too. French at 29%. Okay. And Germanic at 26%. Okay, or I think French is 26 and it's 29, I'm not sure. And then this portion is other languages. This is at 12%, other languages. Okay, so this is English. Where is English? English doesn't exist. You see? English is Latin plus French plus Germanic languages. English doesn't exist, right? It's not like Spanish, which is an evolution of Latin, right? El español es como un 95% latín y es una evolución del latín. But in the case of English, where is English? English doesn't exist. It's just that you put this monster together and you have English language, right? So this explains that we have some words that are pronounced very similar to Spanish, and for example, color, human, lunar, manual, and pronunciation is very similar. But you have some other words that come from French. So some words will be pronounced according to French. For example, no vamos a decir bouquet, podemos pronunciar bouquet, or fiancé. Okay. So English is complicated because sometimes the pronunciation is like Latin, sometimes it's like French, and sometimes it's like Germanic languages. Okay, and you have already a 29%, but the rest is different. Now, when we read English, we don't often think where the word comes from, right? We just see English and we see the words, but we don't think if they come from Latin or if they come from French language or from Germanic. And why is it like this? Why is English like this? Because English is a mixed language from all this history, right? First, you have here this island. You have first the Celts. You have some people that speak a language that was called Gaelic. Right? Gaelic now only exists in Ireland. Ireland se habla, el irlandés es una variación del gaélico, right? In Scotland, they also speak Gaelic. In Scotland, they speak English, but there are some in the Highlands. In the Highlands, in this part of Scotland, they speak Gaelic. Que el gaélico no se parece en nada a ningún otro idioma. Es como un idioma especial. Okay. So, but this is a Celtic language, una lengua celta, right? So this is the first, esto sería como el idioma original. El inglés original, we could say, right? Would be something similar to the other languages, the dialects in English, in Spanish, right? In Mexico. The Mazatec, Mayan, Purépecha, all those languages. So something similar here. Those were the Celtic languages, the Gaelic. Then Romans arrived. Primero llegan romanos a invadir. Okay, so Romans speak Latin. Okay, 29%. Okay, so that's why we have in English, we have Latin, and that's why some words are similar to Spanish. Okay, then there's an invasion from Germanic tribes, the Saxons, Angles, and Jutes. De aquí sale como lo más principal, que son estas dos tribus principalmente, los Anglo-Saxons, or los anglosajones, we say in Spanish, right? So they consider these as their territory, so they go and they invade. So they get, that's why we have 26% of English is Germanic. Okay, decimos Germanic y no German, because Germanic languages no es solamente alemán, también es we could, so what's the name of this? Neerlandés, iba a decir holandés, pero neerlandés, el danés y también las lenguas, not only Germanic, but also from Norway, from Sweden, Nordic languages, lenguas nórdicas también se incorporan un poco al inglés. Okay, because of the Vikings, por los vikingos que también invadieron. Okay, then we have the part where there was a lot of influence from France. France invaded England, England invaded France. Okay, so France had a very deep influence on the UK. Okay, so this is why we have a 29% and we get the English that we know today. Okay, so this is the explanation for you. The thing you need to avoid always in English, unless the word comes from Latin, but even so, you need to be careful to remember. You never pronounce the word as it's written, right? Nunca se pronuncia la palabra como está escrita. Eso es como de ley, right? Because English is tricky and because English is not like Spanish in that sense. So English is broken. English is like this monster, right? So let's see. So what do we do in this case? I'm going to show you the phonemic charts. We know the pronunciation, but that's the first thing. Never pronounce English. Nunca pronuncien en inglés como está escrito. Okay, so that's take for granted. Take for granted significa dar por hecho. Nunca den por hecho que saben la pronunciación de una palabra, porque si no, no van a seguir mejorando. Okay, so it's always good to do something. You go to the dictionary, and the dictionary will tell you, cualquier diccionario, pero bueno, este es el que les recomiendo, les va a decir cuál es la pronunciación. Okay, let's think about, for example, the word. Okay. So without the help of these words, estos símbolos que están aquí se llaman fonemas, que vamos a aprender bien a utilizarlos. And here you have the word. So yo pronunciaría como psychiatrist, right? But here you have the pronunciation is psychiatrist. Okay. Y todo con la ayuda de estos fonemas. So that's what we're going to learn. Okay. How to pronounce, what happens then, what do we do with a difficult pronunciation language like English? Are there any other non-phonemic languages? Yes. French, el francés es un idioma que no es fonético. También está bueno, las lenguas germánicas, German, el alemán no es un idioma fonético. So that's why the pronunciation is sometimes kind of difficult, right? Because they don't obey those rules. No siguen lo que nosotros aprendimos en nuestro idioma, como el español, donde las consonantes con las vocales siempre suenan igual cuando están juntas. Here doesn't matter because even if you have the same syllable, a same syllable can be pronounced different. La misma sílaba puede cambiar de pronunciación dependiendo de en qué palabra esté. Okay, so that's why sometimes we pronounce English like in Latin, sometimes we pronounce the word like in French, and sometimes we pronounce the word like in German or other Germanic languages. Okay, so here we go. Here we have this. We have this chart. Is the phonemic chart. So we're going to start working on it. You see, first we have vowels and consonants. Okay, so just for you to see what we mean here, right? So all these section, entonces sección de vocales. Okay, how many vowels do we have in this part? Can you count them? Can you tell me how many vowels are there in this part?
$20.
20, very well. Exactly. Okay, so you see that's the thing, right? With I think Cody is not here. Okay. Very well. Okay. So the thing is that we have 20 vowels, when in Spanish we only have 5, right? In Spanish, 5 vowels. In English, we have also these 5 vowels that we have in Spanish. For example, this symbol corresponds to A, this one corresponds to E, I, O, U. These are the Spanish vowels in English, okay? So we have, in English, there are the same vowels that we have in Spanish, but we also have some other vowels. So that leaves us with other 15 symbols. Hay otros 15 sonidos que no conocemos. Okay, so that we need to study, we need to check. So that's the thing, whenever you're not sure about the pronunciation of the word, you go and you check in the dictionary. That's important. So you go, check your dictionary, and you make sure that you will have the correct pronunciation, okay? So never try to make up the pronunciation because you may be wrong. Nunca intentemos adivinar la pronunciación, sobre todo si es una palabra nueva, porque vamos a fallar. But it's in fact for any other native. If you show a native any new word, si le enseñas a algún nativo alguna palabra nueva, una palabra difícil en su propio idioma, probablemente ni siquiera esa persona pueda pronunciarla, right? Because English is not phonetic. In Spanish, can be a very complicated word, puede ser una palabra muy complicada o una palabra nueva, pero es posible pronunciarla porque es un idioma fonético. Entonces lo separas en sílabas y lo pronuncias poco a poco hasta que sale. In English, this is not possible. Okay. So let's see, how will we pronounce these different symbols? These symbols, they are all the sounds that we have in English. Todos estos símbolos representan a todos los sonidos que existen en inglés. Okay, so that's why it's important that you memorize the pronunciation of all the symbols so we can practice pronunciation and that we can work on exercises for pronunciation, okay? So the first is, we have 2 E sounds. Primero hay 2 sonidos de E en inglés, right? We have the long E, so that's the pronunciation of this phoneme. Esta no es una letra, es un fonema, es un símbolo. So it's pronounced longer than a regular E. So you would say E. This is a short one. You pronounce E. So you would say, for example, sheep, but here you would say sheep. Sheep, sheep. So you see a difference, right? These boys, for example, how will you pronounce Rocio, the word that I wrote on the chat?
Beach.
Beach, right? It's long. No, you don't say beach. That's a different word, right? Pau, how will you pronounce this word?
Sheet.
Sheet. Yes, you don't say shit, right? Short means a different thing. So maybe for us in Spanish, it's like, I don't see the difference, right? But we also have 2 or double vowels, for example, in the word coordinación, right? Por ejemplo, no decimos coordinación, decimos coordinación, no decimos leer, decimos leer, right? So something similar in English, we have this. It's difficult to know, right? Because here, aquí, por ejemplo, no significa que todas las palabras que tengan doble E son con una I larga. No, pero esta palabra en específico es con una I larga. Sheep. And so you don't confuse with barco or nave, you say ship. Okay, so very important. In English, there are 2 E sounds. Las vocales que sean más alargadas, entonces tienen 2 puntos. Okay, you see, or a colon, right? We would say colon is los dos puntos en inglés, right? So you see here two dots, colon, 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 okay? So there are 5, son 5 de estas vocales que son alargadas, okay? Y las demás son cortas. Okay, very important. So the next one, we have, I pronounce the phoneme and you pronounce the word, please. Yo pronuncio el fonema y ustedes pronuncian la palabra que está como ejemplo. U. So the word below we pronounce how?
Good.
Good. Es corto. No good. Good.
Okay. Good.
Okay. U. So the word below we pronounce?
Should.
Should. Very well. Should. Okay. Should is the verb. Don't confuse with shot. That it's the noun. Okay. Should. So good. Should. How can you know? You see that the both words, they have double O, right? Cuando hay doble O se suele pronunciar como U, pero aún así se pronuncia distinto. Good que should. So there's no way that you can know. No puedes saber si cuando veas doble O es largo o corto. Tú no lo puedes saber, nadie lo puede saber. Tenemos que ir al diccionario y revisarlo. Okay, that's the thing. That's why it's very important that you don't invent the pronunciation and you check first in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Besides, there are words that have double O that don't even sound like this. Hay palabras que, por ejemplo, tienen doble O y que ni siquiera suenan como U. For example, we have blood or flood, right? So that's why English is confusing, English is annoying, right? But we don't invent words, right? Porque no se trata de adivinar la pronunciación, no se puede. Entonces tenemos que revisar la pronunciación en un diccionario siempre y me gustaría que lo hicieran tanto para la preparación para este examen, tanto siempre que tengan duda de la pronunciación. El diccionario hasta tiene una bocina, pueden escucharlo. And don't take it for granted that you know the pronunciation because maybe you don't know it, okay? So first check the pronunciation, get used to it. Ya después, obviamente, si escuchas música, maybe you listen to music, you watch movies, you're serious in English. Well, so now it's going to be more natural, okay? But this is always going to be your tool. El fonema siempre va a ser tu herramienta para poder verificar la pronunciación de una palabra. That's the first thing. Son otras cosas importantes para hablar y leer bien o con más fluidez. But the first thing is that you have a good pronunciation and that doesn't have anything to do with your accent, okay? Aquí no vamos a hablar de acento porque un acento no es algo malo, okay? You don't want to sound like an American, right? You are Mexican, you are Latin people, right? So we speak as Mexicans. That's our thing, right? Because we think that English is like the Americans. English is like the British, like the Londoners, and that's not true. All these countries, America or United States and United Kingdom, they're made of immigrants, right? Son países construidos por y para los inmigrantes, right? So you go to the United States, you have the Latin, the Latino neighborhood, you have the Chinese neighborhood, you have Italian neighborhood, and all of them, they speak English, right? So you shouldn't be embarrassed about your accent. Es algo, el ser multicultural es algo propio del inglés. Entonces no deberías de avergonzarte de tener un acento, porque el acento no implica una mala pronunciación. Entonces, si hablas como se nota que eres mexicano, pues qué bueno, no es algo malo y tampoco en el examen se te va a tomar en cuenta como un error, ¿ok? So that's the thing. Your goal is not to sound like that hip hop, like that rapper. Tu meta no es sonar como ese actor, como un americano, como la reina Isabel, que en paz descanse. No, that's not what you should do, okay? So when I say pronunciation, is not accent. No es lo mismo acento y pronunciación. Okay. So do you have any questions so far?
No, teacher, thank you.
Okay, very good. So once we clarify this, let's go. I'm going to give you some tips for American and British pronunciation, but doesn't mean that you have to pronounce exactly the same. But when we come to the phonemes, those phonemes need to be pronounced exactly as they are. Eso sí, okay? Los fonemas sí los pronunciamos exactamente como deben de pronunciarse. But your accent is a different thing. Okay, so we have here the this for example, this phoneme is a long O sound. This is like a deep O. Es como una O con una U, right? Very typical in English. This no tenemos nosotros una O así en español, but in English we do, right? So for example, we say O like in the word. How do you pronounce?
Door.
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 Yeah, door. Okay, so you see otra palabra que tiene doble O y no suena como U. So yes, you don't know how the word is pronounced until you check in your dictionary. Okay, the next one is a short O, so we say O. The word below is pronounced
On.
on. Okay, like in Spanish O. Okay, let's check. Now we have three vowel sounds. Son tres vocales. Okay, tres A's, tres sonidos de A. Okay, in Spanish we just have one, but in English you have first the Spanish one, which is this one, like it looks like a capital A letter, right? So this we pronounce A, like in Spanish. So how do you pronounce the word below?
Up.
Up.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is this word is it's like this one. It's an A, but it's different one. Okay, I'm going to explain. Remember the 2 points? What is it? What is the meaning of the colon? ¿Qué quiere decir los dos puntos?
Sonido largo.
Yes, so this is longer, very well. Se alarga la vocal, but there's another thing with this phoneme, and is that you need to close your mouth a little bit more. This we have in English open. In English, I open vowels and closed vowels. Consonantes abiertas, perdón, vocales abiertas y vocales cerradas. Aparte de vocales cortas y vocales largas. Okay, so let's say that this phoneme is an closed and long vowel sound. Okay, what is the meaning closed? That you need to close your mouth. Tenemos que cerrar un poco más la boca de lo habitual. Okay, y vamos a decir no a, like in this one, but you will close your mouth and you say oh, como si no tuvieras ganas. Oh. Okay, but you need to make it longer. Debe ser más largo. Entonces suena como so you say far. If you open your mouth more, si tú abrieras tu boca más, no suena bien. Sería far. But you don't say like that. You say far. Okay, so that's one. Okay, is right? Okay. In British English, the R is not considered a consonant. It's another vowel in British English, right? So in American, you say far, but in British, you say far. Como si fuera así una A más larga, so far. En inglés británico, dices, no se pronuncia la R, es otra vocal. Okay. We have another that is the mix between A and E, okay? And there are also in other languages, like I think in, I think there is in Swedish, En las sí, lenguas, what's the name of this? Nordic languages. En las lenguas nórdicas esto es muy común. Una fusión entre la A y la E. Okay, so here in the word, you could think, right? Oh, what a simple word. Una palabra muy fácil de pronunciar. So maybe you always say cat, right? But cat is not correct because cat is not this phoneme. Esta es una fusión entre una A y una E, o mejor dicho, entre una E y una A. So you will pronounce first the E and then the A. Entonces dirás primero, no es AE, sino EA. Okay, so you will pronounce cat.
Cat.
Cat. Yes, can you repeat cat? A ver, vamos a escuchar a Guadalupe. Cat.
Cat.
Cat. Okay.
Cat.
Ale, please. Can we pronounce this? Cat.
Cat.
Excellent. Pau, please.
Cat.
Cat. Cat. Okay, Rocio, please. Cat. Okay, so you see, it's not cat, it's cat. So we need to practice. There are many words. A ver, mano. ¿Cómo dirías mano, Rocío?
Hand.
Hand, no hand.
Hand.
Hand. A ver, sombrero. ¿Cómo diríamos sombrero?
Hat.
Hat.
Hand. No, hat. Hat, no?
Hat.
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 Ok. Very well. Si haces eso como hand, hat, eso es como... Ok. How you say hombre?
Man.
Man.
Man. Yeah, because
Man.
es como alemán. Man. Pues a man. Okay, this is from
Man.
English
Man.
language. Okay, very well. Then we have the these other three vowels that they come from their E sound. Tenemos como tres sonidos de E. Okay, so first we have the Spanish one, E, like in Beth. Okay, we have this other one that is longer. Okay, it's longer, es más larga, pero es también cerrada. So you don't say, for example, bird, right? Even though you have the I, you don't say bird, but you would pronounce bird. So can you repeat, please?
Bird.
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 Bird. E larga, no es E, es so you say bird. Okay.
Bird.
Bird. Yes, very well. And this is the schwa sound, very typical, not only in English, but there are many languages that are not exactly an E. Es una E, pero no es exactamente una E. It is like a new concept. This is like something new for Spanish speakers. Here, for example, here we have the word teacher, but we don't actually pronounce teacher. De hecho, no es teacher, okay? Because this last syllable, it's pronounced like, it's pronounced softer, okay? The purpose of the schwa is that it's softer, es más suave que el resto de la palabra, okay? So here we will pronounce not like teacher, but you pronounce like teacher, teacher, okay? Teacher, all the words that then in ER, you will pronounce like teacher or worker, lawyer, work, teacher, okay? So that's the difference. If you hear yourself, you say worker, lawyer, you see it's different. So you say worker, lawyer, okay? Very well. So that is that's the schwa sound. Vamos a practicarlo. Este es un muy especial, muy importante. So let's see. Well, we have diphthongs. Diphthongs is when you mix. También es como parte de las vocales, pero aquí mezclamos una vocal con otra vocal. So we pronounce the phonemes and you pronounce please the word below. Okay, let's start with Guadalupe. The phoneme is E, So how will you pronounce the word below? Guadalupe, how will you pronounce this word? The phoneme is ear.
Here.
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 Yes, it's not exactly only E. So you don't say
Mhm.
he, you say he.
Here.
He.
Here.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Here.
And please, we would say a. So in the word, we would say a, or maybe Pau, please. A, so we pronounce like
Wait.
wait. Okay, Rocio, the next word, the phoneme is pronounced U, and then the schwa U. So can you please pronounce the word below? Rocio, can you hear me?
Tourist.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So we say O and so we say tu, and maybe
Tourist.
it's like tourist, right? But no, we have also the schwa, so we pronounce tourist. Tourist.
Tourist.
So it's a tourist. Tourist.
Tourist.
Tourist. So not tourist. Not tourist. Tourist. Okay, because we have two vowels here. So we actually don't pronounce tourist, right? Tourist. Okay. Hoy, how will we pronounce Rocio?
Boy.
Boy. Okay, Pau, the next one is we have the schwa, so we pronounce and then we have the u sound, so we say So how will you pronounce the word below?
Show.
Show. Yes, very well. Show. So you don't say show, right? You say show. Okay, very well. Now we have the next one. We have the regular E sound, and then we have the schwa. So you would say ew, like sounded like Freddie Mercury, right? Okay, okay. Ew, ew.
Air.
So in the
Air.
word, say
Air.
hair, hair,
Hair.
hair. So there is not actually I. We don't say hair, right? There's no E. We say
Here.
hair.
Hair.
Here.
Good, exactly. Okay, now we have I. So the word below we will pronounce
My.
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 my. Exactly. Exactly, very well. My. Okay, very well. Ow. So we will pronounce
Cow.
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 Yeah, but how you pronounce, for example, this word?
Moscow.
Moscow.
Moscow. Yes, Moscow. Exactly. So then you have cow, aunque cow es así. Pero si pones esta sílaba en otra palabra, the pronunciation can be different. Okay, that's the thing with English. Okay, so do you have any questions about the vowels?
No.
No,
No?
thank
Okay, very well. So we check also the consonants. Consonants are different. Some of them are different from Spanish. We need to check the pronunciation too. So we have the P, the first one, the P, this is pronounced, right? Like the same as in Spanish. Okay, so we have P, we have B, but this one is different. The V, the V is not like in Spanish, because in Spanish we pronounce the same, right? So if you pronounce the V in English like you do in Spanish, you pronounce like vaca. O sea, en español no se diría vaca, sino vaca. Okay. So the same thing in English here, we wouldn't say video, you would say video. And there are many languages that have V and V. But sometimes in Spanish, we pronounce it the same. So be very careful with the pronunciation. You don't say video. A lo mejor ustedes no se dan cuenta, pero un nativo sí lo va a reconocer y en el examen también pues va a entenderse claramente si lo estás pronunciando bien o no. So you try to pronounce like this, like video, okay? Then we have the next one, which is the F, right? The F, okay? So like this, we would say fly.
Oh.
Okay, other thing is that the T in English is pronounced strong. The consonants generally in English are stronger. Sí, las consonantes en inglés son generalmente más fuertes que en español. So you don't say, for example, T. No, you need to pronounce it stronger. So you say T. T. Okay. How you pronounce the name of the sheep? How you pronounce it?
Titanic.
Titanic.
Titanic. Okay, pero not Titanic, right? Titanic. You need to check the T.
Titanic.
Titanic. Yes, so it's like like spitting the T. Es como escupir la T. Yeah, very well. Okay, Titanic. Okay, now let's see. How about the next one? Okay, the D we have it in Spanish, but these others, these are some consonants that we don't have. So the first one that looks like a 0, this is like the letter D, with the difference that you need to put your tongue, you need to take out your tongue more than with the this other one. Okay, so with when you have this symbol, it's like a D, but try to take out your tongue even more. So for example, this word is not pronounced dink, right? Dink. You need to take out your tongue and then you say like this. Basically, your tongue needs to be visible. Se tiene que ver tu lengua, pronunciarlo. So you say think, right? This is like the Spanish Z. En español de España, la Z o la C se pronuncian como F. So you would say like, I don't know, ciencia, zapato, okay? So this is the same sound in English, you would say think. Okay, but this other symbol is similar to this, but you need to use voice, okay? What does it mean? You need to make your vocal cords need to be vibrating, necesitan vibrar sus cuerdas vocales. So you will pronounce like v, and then you will say this. Not you wouldn't say this. You say this. Okay, these are these consonants. And now we have this one is the same as Spanish, but this one comes from French. Este fonema proviene del francés. How do you pronounce this? Well, you need to basically you need to pronounce like a ch. Tienes que intentar pronunciar como una che, but you will add voice. Tienes que hacer vibrar tus cuerdas vocales. So it would sound like je, something like that. Like
Yeah.
je. Yes, exactly. So, for example, in French, when you say buen día, no? You say bonjour, so you say je. No es bonjour, es bonjour, je, right? Pues ese es el mismo sonido, right? Because remember, English comes from French. Or for example, para decir me llamo, you say like je m'appelle, right? So you say je, you know, ye, you say je. Okay, So bonjour, je m'appelle. So here you wouldn't say June. No, se pronuncia June. June. Okay,
June.
so this is another symbol. You can find in a couple of words. Okay, now we have the S and the Z. This is also different from English, right? For example, we don't say zoo. In Spanish, we say zoológico. Or in English, you say zoo. Zoo. Exactly. Very well. So
Zoo.
you need to make, it's like an S, es como una S, pero una S que vibra. Zzz, like this, like if you were a bee or something.
Z. Zoo.
Exactly. Zoo. Yeah, and there are some words that don't even have a Z. Hay palabras que ni siquiera tienen una Z, pero aún así se va a pronunciar con Z. Por ejemplo, la palabra postre. So in English, no hay una Z, pero se va a pronunciar como si la tuviera. So you would say dessert. Dessert.
Dessert.
Dessert.
Dessert.
Mhm. Very well. Okay. Very well. So guys, this is the thing, right? You need to check always your pronunciation. Okay, now let's check the K. Well, we have the K, we have the G. How about this symbol? This symbol, we also have it in Spanish, is simply the sh sound. Okay, so you pronounce like sh, like this. Okay, now we also have this one. This is another, but sounds like sh. This is like the same one, but this vibrates. Esta es una sh, pero que vibra con nuestras cuerdas vocales. So you pronounce like sh, sh. You see? So you pronounce like television, not television. You say television, television,
Television.
television. Yes, very well. Okay, very good. So, well, tomorrow we continue with this and practicing pronunciation. So thanks for joining and see you in the next class. Take care.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher. Good